As we had reported in our last video, there are currently rumors going around that Vince McMahon is considering Big E for a huge push to Universal title contention in the not so distant future, now that Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are sidelined with injuries for the foreseeable future. And while those rumors are still very much active, one of our sources has mentioned that backstage officials are most likely going to be giving Big E a more gradual ascent to the top of the card on Friday Night SmackDown, with Big E likely to receive a brief reign as the Intercontinental Champion before challenging Braun Strowman for the Universal title, which means that AJ Styles will in fact be losing his Intercontinental title to Big E very soon, and not The Undertaker like it was originally rumored. Matt Riddle has certainly been trying to catch the attention of a major superstar to feud with following his call-up to the WWE's main roster, with Matt clearly trying to work himself into a match against dream opponent Bill Goldberg or Brock Lesnar. And apparently, Vince is considering the idea of having Matt Riddle act as Brock Lesnar's first feud following his return to SmackDown in the very near future. And while this is a good sign for Matt Riddle that McMahon believes he is worthy enough for a rivalry against Brock Lesnar, considering this will essentially be Lesnar's first match following his return, it's very unlikely that Lesnar would lose, meaning that Riddle is almost definitely going to be defeated by the Beast Incarnate. While Dominik is currently embroiled in a heated rivalry with Seth Rollins on behalf of his father Rey Mysterio, if new backstage rumors prove to be true, Vince McMahon is planning a big surprise or swerve in the near future where Dominik and Seth Rollins are concerned. According to one new rumor, the current plan is to eventually have Seth Rollins try to recruit Dominik into his faction once Rollins defeats Dominik in singles competition, with Seth rumored to basically tell Dominik that he has a lot of talent and with the right teacher, that being Seth Rollins himself of course, Dominik can accomplish a lot in the WWE, and surprisingly, Dominik would reportedly agree to this alliance for a period of time, with Dominik and Seth Rollins rumored to win the Raw Tag Team Championships from the Street Profits in early fall 2020, before Dominik inevitably turns on Seth Rollins and refuels their rivalry together heading into next year. Apollo Crews may still technically be the current United States champion, but according to new rumors, that won't be the case for much longer. As some of you are likely aware, when MVP made his return to the WWE earlier in the year, Vince McMahon only had plans to utilize MVP as an actual in-ring talent for a couple one-off appearances and nothing more, with the WWE offering Montel a backstage producer role instead. However, McMahon has clearly changed his mind where MVP is concerned, and wants the illustrious former US champion featured on TV far more than was originally planned. And apparently MVP is a superstar whom Vince is considering to be the next United States champion, with the plan being that Bobby Lashley will eventually turn on its manager MVP and create a rivalry between the two for the United States Championship, with Lashley inevitably winning the gold in late 2020. If you hadn't known, the WWE are currently planning the company's second all-women's Evolution pay-per-view event this year in 2020, with it likely taking place at the Performance Center in September, and apparently Vince McMahon is currently planning a big return to the WWE to make Evolution 2 that much more special for fans. And if new rumors prove to be true, the superstar whom Vince is currently negotiating to come back is none other than former Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey, who was last seen in a WWE ring at WrestleMania 35, where she lost the title to Becky Lynch in their triple threat winner-takes-all match. With both Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair out of action for the foreseeable future, Vince believes the women's division needs a huge boost of star power over the next few months, especially to make Evolution 2 a very big event, so fans can expect to see Ronda Rousey back inside the ring very soon. The Viper Randy Orton has set his sights on Drew McIntyre's WWE Championship for SummerSlam this year, and while there are plenty of rumors going around that Randy Orton is legitimately being considered by backstage officials to be the superstar to end Drew's title reign, Vince McMahon is reportedly considering a big swerve or surprise at SummerSlam during Drew McIntyre's and Randy Orton's WWE title bout. Apparently, there's talk backstage of having Christian surprisingly make his return at SummerSlam and cost Randy Orton the WWE title by interfering in the match. Essentially, one way for Christian to get revenge on Randy Orton and Ric Flair for their unsuspecting attack back in June, with Randy Orton likely to win the WWE title in early 2021, after having defeated Christian in a future singles match on pay-per-view, and basically putting Christian back into retirement. Keith Lee's career has certainly been continuing on an upwards trajectory, with Keith recently becoming a dual champion in NXT as both the NXT and North American champion. While Keith relinquished the North American title, if a new leaked backstage rumor proves to be true, there are many more big things in store for Keith Lee in 2020. Apparently, Vince is considering the idea of having Keith Lee get called up to the main roster by challenging one of the company's main title holders, either the Universal or WWE champion, to a title match, with Keith Lee winning his huge debut match for one of the two main roster titles, with Keith then relinquishing the NXT championship and becoming an immediate main event level main roster superstar. Sasha Banks and Bayley are certainly running the women's divisions in WWE at the moment, with Bayley being one half of the women's tag team champions with Sasha Banks as well as the current SmackDown Women's Champion, with Sasha also recently winning a singles title in the way of the Raw Women's Championship. However, new rumors have indicated that Sasha Banks will soon be turning on Bayley, and we've been told that by the end of the summer, Sasha Banks will be a dual champion, holding both the SmackDown and Raw Women's Championships at the same time. Roman Reigns has certainly been out of action for what seems like an eternity, but according to one of our sources, the big dog will be returning to the WWE far sooner than most fans would likely expect, well before 2020 comes to an end. But without question, the real surprise is not really regarding Roman Reigns' return, but more so the way in which Reigns is reportedly going to be returning. A new backstage rumor has indicated that not only will Roman Reigns be returning to the WWE as a heel, he will also be returning with the Authors of Pain, two superstars who have been missing from TV for quite some time, with AOP and Reigns basically going to be a new dominant version of the Shield. We've been told that Vince had asked Roman to get in the best shape of his life ahead of his return, because McMahon wants Reigns to essentially be the full-time version of Brock Lesnar when he comes back, as a dominant, monstrous heel. For the past few years, there have been rumors going around that the WWE were interested in having The Rock return for one final time to match up against his cousin Roman Reigns. And surprisingly enough, a feud between a returning Rock and Roman Reigns is actually very possible in 2020 if new rumors prove to be true. According to one of our sources, with Roman Reigns rumored to be coming back to the WWE as a heel, Vince McMahon believes this would present the perfect opportunity to have The Rock, a clear babyface, return and set out to begin his final rivalry in the WWE against a newly heel-turned Roman Reigns. It's highly likely that The Rock will surprise fans in late 2020 with a big return, to begin the groundwork for his feud against Roman Reigns, with their match actually taking place at next year's WrestleMania 37 event.